AFTERBUZZ TV Network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Fashion Star After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and give you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Fashion Star After Show.
Hey guys. Hello. So if you're tuning in right now, this is the AFTERBUZZ After Show for Fashion Star, and this is the second season of the fashion competition show, and we're actually covering the first episode and the second episode tonight. And for today, it's just myself, Diona Vaughan, and my co-host here.
Hi, I am Erika Vieira.
And we will have a full panel of co-hosts going forward. It's the two of us today, but I think we can tackle this. We can tackle it.
For sure.
And just a little bit about Erika and myself. I actually have a fashion background. I was a buyer for Bloomingdale's, and I worked for Macy's Corporate, and I was a buyer for Express, actually. And I also did product development. And Erika, I know you have a fashion background,
yes,
too.
I do. I mean, some of you guys might recognize me for some of the other after shows here. So in addition to being a host here on AfterBuzz, I do have a clothing line. I co-own it with my sister, and it's called Rally Babe. And yeah, so I handle a lot of the business aspects, sales aspects of things. My sister's a designer, so I bring that kind of perspective. So I've been looking forward to Fashion Star for so long, being able to host the AfterBuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be able to host a show here, because I do the Snooki and JWoww, Mob Wives. I love reality TV, but it's exciting for me to be able to do something where I can directly relate my experience and my past and all that, my background. So
exactly. And
super pumped.
And I think between the two of us, you guys are in the most capable hands when it comes to an after show. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So this is the second season of Fashion Star. Now there's a couple changes this season. The first notable change is that now they've broken things up by teams. So Jessica Simpson, John Varvatos, and Nicole Richie, they each have teams of people, which is new from last season. What do you think about that?
I actually really like that. I think that, and actually I have I was doing some reading, and actually Nicole Richie said herself that she thought that was a really good choice, because they were able to focus more on their individual group of designers, as opposed to before they felt spread out.
Right.
And it kind of brings a little bit of friendly competition amongst the judges themselves.
Agreed.
And you could tell, like, each of the mentors picked designers that they can resonate with, or they thought that they could truly help out. So it is interesting to see, and I like it. I like this added level of competition.
Yeah,
I think it was a good choice, actually.
And I'm with you on that, Erika. I like the aspect that we get to see a little mentoring, you know, and I think we get to dig a little deeper and we get to learn more about the designers, because I feel like last season we didn't get to learn more about them until a little earlier in the season, and you didn't always get to see the stories of each individual person. It was kind of like, you know,
all over the place.
It was all over the place. So I like that aspect too, that we're getting to see some mentoring and some relationship building. And then the next new thing about this season, H&M is out and Express is in terms of being, you know, one of the buyers for the show. And what's interesting about that is, like I said before, I actually used to be a buyer for Express a couple years ago, and I know Erika DeSalvatore. We're good friends.
That's
so
awesome.
We're gonna get her to call in, and she's actually in Columbus, Ohio, but hopefully we can also get her in on the show when she's in LA, so that's like an added element. Were you sad to see H&M go?
You know, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed, because H&M is such a strong brand and such a strong company right now when it comes to the world of fashion, of being fashion forward. They have fantastic campaigns. They have fantastic ad campaigns, and they do a really good job of just staying on the pulse of the trends and being able to provide that to people in a very cost-effective way. I mean, Express is the same thing, but I think H&M is just really on the cutting edge. So I was a little disappointed to see them go, and I wonder what the reasoning was behind it. I did do some research, and there really wasn't any clear statement as to why, other than, you know, it wasn't the best fit they felt anymore.
Right. I heard a rumor that they just didn't think it was like brand appropriate for them to keep moving with the show. So, you know, hopefully, and I agree with you on all those points. I'm a big fan of H&M. I think it's great fast fashion at a great price point. It's accessible to a lot of people, but hopefully Express can fill the void, because right now Express is only, you know, mainly in the U.S. They have about, I think, 600 stores, whereas H&M is a worldwide global company. So I think that makes for a very big difference.
It does, and you know, I think Express is, like you said, it's an American brand here, and it's strong here. So I'm hoping that I'm sure it'll lend itself well to the show. But the other thing that that was changed, not really the show, but the night of the show. And anytime a show changes nights to Friday night,
it's like the kiss of death.
It is, I love this show. Like last season, I loved it, and I was disappointed to hear that, because to me, that's telling me that maybe the ratings aren't good, or they're not getting the response that they want. And
well, I have a little inside information that I'll share a little later in the show, just in terms of the ratings. But you know, I agree with you. I'm glad that you brought that up. It's also on a new night. It's on Fridays, and I think Fridays, I don't know, it just seems like it's the kiss of death for debuting a new show.
Well, and exactly, and also, like, you know, this show, and they really worked hard to try and attract a younger viewership by getting Nicole, Richie, Jessica Simpson, H&M, and you know, those kind of, H&M isn't there anymore, Express, and logically, if you're wanting to attract young people, Friday night's not the best time.
Not a good night, because they're out.
They're out. They're out wearing the dresses that they're trying to sell.
Exactly. That's a great point.
So, like, but there's a few changes, but I think the changes to the show format itself is great. The other big change is the host.
Yes, there's a new host. Yeah.
And I like that.
No more Elle Macpherson. I agree. I think it was a little cliche having a supermodel as the host, so I like the fact that we have a fashionista. She's British, so you know.
And not to knock Elle, but honestly, I think she needs to stick to modeling. Hosting was not her thing. It was hard to watch. She didn't have that personality, and actually, that was one thing that distracted me for the entire season was Elle's hosting.
Well,
that's my personal opinion.
We don't have to deal with her anymore.
Maybe other people have thought the same thing, because they changed to a new host. So
I know.
I'm excited for that too.
Well, before we dig in really quickly for both episodes, I want to remind you guys, make sure you download our podcast on iTunes. It's completely free, Free, and make sure you rate us. We'd love if you rated us a 5. And I know that this is our first after show for the show, but please leave your comments on iTunes, on YouTube. We read them, we take your feedback, and we really care what you have to say. So let's dig in. So the first episode, it was all about a showstopper. So the designers were given the challenge that they had to really create something that just really showed their design ability, that was really just gonna, you know, no pun intended, but stop the show. And let's start out with Team John. So for John Varvatos, his team is Amber, Cassandra, Brandon, and Sylvia. So I'm just going to go down the line. So let's start off with Amber. She came out with this orange mod flare dress. What did you think about that dress?
You know, I thought it was cute. Trying to think which one. I'm looking at my notes.
Okay.
It helps with the pictures. I thought it was cute. And I was a little surprised that she got a bid from all of them.
Yep, she got a bid from all 3 stores.
I know, and I was a little bit surprised with that. I thought it was cute, but I didn't think, I didn't think the fit was that good. I didn't like how high the hem was, and I think John even mentioned that. It looked to me like, unless you're a very thin person and tall, and I'm petite, I'm 5'1", it was an odd cut. I wasn't crazy about the cut. The colors I loved, I thought were on point, but I was not crazy about that cut. The peekaboo was cute.
Yeah, I thought it was very trend right. I love the color. I love that it was bright. It was, you know, very trend right. And just like you said, she got she got offers from all three stores, with Express being the #1. So Express won out for $175,000, which was amazing for her.
Yes.
Moving on to Cassandra. Now, Cassandra, she had that really cute cropped moto jacket in 2 different colors, a royal blue and an orange. What did you think about that?
You know, I actually thought it was really cute.
I did too.
I really liked that jacket. I thought it was super cute, and I was surprised that she didn't get any offers for that.
I was. She didn't receive a single offer, and in fact, the feedback from Express was they thought that Erika mentioned that it was just too boxy in the back, and yes and no. It was boxy. At the same time, I think we are moving towards silhouettes that are a lot more fitted and body conscious lately on women. Like, everything is fitted, everything is showing the shape. So in that respect, I can understand why there was a pass on it.
I actually have to disagree with you on that, because the trend that I'm seeing, I feel like it's more loose. It is a little more, I don't want to say boxy, but it's less shape.
Okay.
Especially amongst like a younger demographic. And so that's why I actually thought that jacket was totally Express.
I loved it. Yeah.
To me, just the fabric, the color, everything about it, I thought for sure Express was gonna like it. But that was then, you know, we agree there. Yeah.
No go.
No go.
Moving on to Brandon. So Brandon had a hoodie jacket combo. Now, I think it's interesting because last season we had Orly Shani, who I'm friends with Orly.
Oh, cool. We should get her on here too.
We will. Orly did a lot of the convertible stuff, and so I felt like
it reminded me of that.
It did.
For
so
sure.
Seeing Brandon with his hoodie jacket combo, I'm like, oh, it reminded me of like a 2-4 and, you know, things like that. You're getting, you know, a value for your money. What did you think about that jacket?
You know, I thought it was cool. It can be seen as kind of gimmicky sometimes, a twofer, and I think unless it's done really well, it has that tendency to be like, is this just like a gimmick? But I think when it's done well, it's a great piece, and you could do, it's awesome. And I like this hoodie twofer. I thought it was really cool, and for a men's piece, I mean, I'm married, my husband, I do his shopping and stuff, and it's all about functionality, and men love functional, great fitting clothes, and I thought this completely fit with that.
It was simple, it was easy to wear, and it was very Macy's. Like, I mean, I worked for Macy's corporate for 9 years. That's a very, very Macy's branded thing, so.
So Macy's ended up bidding 120 grand for that.
Right.
And nothing from Saks, nothing from Express.
Exactly, nothing from Saks, nothing from Express. So I think Macy's
got that one,
They got it. And then finally from John's team was Sylvia, and I'll just preface, Sylvia seems to be the very, she seems to be a little bit more elevated in her taste level and her experience level. I think not only amongst her team, but amongst the whole group of designers. I remember hearing her story. She sold things in Paris and Milan, all over the world.
She's French, I believe.
Yeah, so she's Latin. Sylvia's
that's right.
Latin.
Yeah.
So she definitely has a different like aesthetic than the others do. Now, what did you think about her coat dress? You didn't like it? Really?
No.
I thought it fit Saks very well.
I did too. I have to say, because she came out when the coat dress first came out open.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all, but I did like it closed.
Okay.
So, you know, and yeah, it was fitting to me that Saks picked it up. I would have been shocked if Express did or Macy's did.
I agree.
It seemed more of a kind of higher end couture kind of a piece. I wasn't 100% crazy about it, but I see why Saks picked it.
I do too.
And Saks ended up, what was it, 75 grand?
Yeah, it was a 75 grand buy for Saks. Okay, so moving on to Team Nicole Richie. So Daniel, already he's like one of my favorite people. I like his level of taste. I like that he kind of takes a risk. Now, he did that really cool applique on the dress. Yeah. He took a big risk, and it paid off. What did you think about his designs?
He's definitely a little bit more avant-garde. Like you said, he's risky. He's a little more of a couture kind of eye. I thought it was an interesting dress. He did take a risk. It wasn't my favorite. I'll be honest. It wasn't. But that's my personal style. But I think it was it was a very creative, well-tailored piece.
Yeah, and I think it was very well executed.
It was,
for sure. So he got the buy from Saks for $150K.
And nothing from the other two.
Nothing from the other two.
Which is not surprising for me for that kind of a dress.
Not surprising.
You would never see that in Express, and you would be hard-pressed to find that at Macy's either.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Moving on to Johanna. So she had that tulip dress in black and white. And I have to be honest, when that dress came out, remember she had the black dress and then there's a white dress. When I saw it, I was just like, I was like, wah wah, this isn't anything different. This isn't anything I've never seen before. And I wasn't expecting her to get any bids. What were you thinking when you saw that dress?
I loved it.
Really?
I love the black dress. I like the black one. I like the black dress.
I didn't like the white one for sure.
I didn't like the white one as well, but I really like the black one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, one of her things is like she's trying to design for the modern woman and everything, and I loved it. And I thought for sure she was going to get a bid from somebody because it's such an easy to wear dress. It's such a sellable dress. Like, that's the thing when you look at with Macy's, and you know this as being a buyer, is this going to sell? I mean, is this gonna go off the shelves? And this to me was so easy. Like there's no question. I thought it was designed well, and I really liked it. I
was bored with it.
Bored?
I feel like it wasn't anything that like I haven't seen a million times before.
Yeah.
But you are right. To your credit, it's wearable, it's easy, and it probably appeals to lots of different body types.
Does.
And
that's my perspective too, from my company I work with, from my line. I'm all about, like, I'm not the creative person. I'm the business-minded person.
Your sister's a creative person?
She's a creative. She's a designer.
Okay.
And I'm the sales, the business, the numbers, all that. And so, you know, I look at it from that perspective. And is it practical? Is it wearable?
Yeah, and it is.
You've got to have some creativity, though. I mean, it's got to be unique. It's got to be different. It's got to feel good. It's got to look good. But you can't go too crazy.
Right. Well, and you know what? She got buys from Macy's and Express, and Macy's won out at $55K.
Yeah.
Moving on to Priscilla. Now, Priscilla had that cute little, she called it a moonlight romper, and it had a print and a little circle cut out. It was very sweet. It was very simple. I remember John made the comment that he thought it was a tough silhouette, but what did you think about it?
I actually loved it.
I liked it,
I thought it was so adorable, and I really, Priscilla has a very specific, and that's the one thing with this show. As a designer, you have to stay true to who you are, while also that fine line of being sellable, by being, you know, buyable, you know, and so,
wearable.
And wearable. And I think that dress was a perfect combination, because I would wear that dress in a heartbeat. I thought it was adorable, but it was still unique. It was different. I don't feel like I could go to Forever 21 and pick it up.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
I loved it.
I love that one. I think that was one of my favorites.
Right,
so.
and so did Macy's, and she sold it to Macy's for $80K. So.
And she described herself as like grandma's attic or something.
Yeah,
like
and that suits her to a T.
And she's somebody that like I remember, because I remember she's very specific.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really excited with her. I hope she stays. I'm excited to see what she brings.
Finally, the last person in Nicole's team, Brett. Now, Brett is normally a menswear designer, and he decided for whatever reason to put out, as a showstopper, women's clothes. So he did that, let's see here, a skinny pant and black and neutral. First of all, what was he thinking? Like, why not stick to what you know for the first time out? Because...
And Nicole, wait, who was it, Nicole or Jessica? Who told him? No, Nicole. Nicole told him not to do that, and he didn't listen.
He didn't listen. So, and we will learn a little later what his fate was. We know what his fate was, but what did you think of the pants?
Well, I mean, I want to backtrack just a little bit, because when I was watching it, and when Nicole told him not to, and when he insisted on doing what he wanted to do, I was like, oh my God, this guy's making such a huge mistake. Yeah. Even if those pants were gonna have to be beyond knockout, beyond showstopper, for it to even work.
Right.
Especially since Nicole told him not to. And he was honestly riding his way home already.
Yeah. And even Caprice, you know, the Macy's person, she said to him, she said, I'm actually, I can't believe it's a showstopper to me that you didn't make menswear, because that's what you're known for.
I mean,
he kind of put the nail in his own coffin, unfortunately. And I think first time out, you stick with what you know. You do. You stick with what you know. So.
But talking about the pants, actually, I kind of like the pants.
I like the black ones.
Not the white ones.
The neutral ones, you could see every single flaw.
And he said that, but I actually really like the black ones a lot. Yeah. But I mean, was it a showstopper? No, but I actually really did like those black pants. So.
Yeah, I don't think it was a showstopper. And then two, what everybody needs to keep in mind for this show, everything, like whoever gets buys, everything is available in the store the next day. So these...
Actually, not the next day. That was the one thing they changed from last time. immediately following the show.
Immediately after the show.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Because the last time it was the next day.
And now it's immediately after the show.
And I read about that, and they said that was a big thing for them in regards to manufacturing and production to make sure it's available immediately. Because the idea with the show is like, oh my God, you watch it on TV, and oh my God, I can go, I can buy it right now on my phone or whatever.
And the point I was going to make with Brett is because of the way the show is formatted, it's buying, you see it, you buy it, you wear it, you know? So it's very important that they're really up on what is happening right now. And you can appreciate this as well as me, is working in fashion. We work, you know, 6 months ahead. You work seasons ahead, but in their case, they're working right now. So they really have to be in tune to what's happening, the trends, the colors, the cuts, the fit, all that. So that was something else.
That's a really good point. And in some ways, it should be a little easier for them. All they need to do is open up the magazines. Like for us, when we're designing or we're creating lines, you have to forecast, and you are designing 6 months, 8 months, sometimes a year out. And so in some ways, if they're good at what they do and they're up on the industry, they have no excuse not to know what the trends are right now.
So unfortunately for Brett, he had no buys from anyone. Wah, wah. And finally, rounding it out is Team Jessica. Let's start off with Hunter. First of all, I have to say Hunter is my favorite designer so far in this competition.
I like her.
I'm kind of my bet's on her for winning the competition. I love her aesthetic. I like her sense of style. She had that midi dress, which I thought was fantastic. She did it in print and she did it in red. And what did you think about the dress, first of all?
I thought it was super cute. I liked her dress, and I'm not surprised that Jessica picked her.
Yeah.
She kind of has that Southern, she even said the Southern feminine, and she has an interesting story. Like, she was in Saks. She has a pretty established brand, and that's one thing. I mean, just to kind of backtrack, I wanted to mention this before, is I do feel that the level of competition is much higher than it was last season. Like, the people, they seem to be more established. They seem to have actually existing established brands. So the level of competition is better, and I can even tell right away by the designs that they're pulling out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. Now, Hunter, she's the first person. Every single store bidded on her items, and we got into our first bidding war.
Well, no,
I'm sorry, Amber. Amber got.
But this was the first time it went up to the 200 grand.
This is which is the max. But Hunter is the first bidding war we've had so far, and both Saks and Express wanted her.
So I have a question. Was this 200,000? I wasn't aware that that was a max. Was that last? Is that this new?
I wasn't aware that that was the max either, and I don't think it ever got to that point last season. So I think that this is a new thing that we're hearing about. Because we've never really heard that in the rules. It hasn't been established or stated.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But now we know 200K is the max that the stores can buy it, and good for her because both Saks and Express. And of course, she picked Saks because it was a personal thing.
Herself to them again.
Yeah, she's getting back in there,
which is so cool. I mean, I really like her too. I think she's got a great sense of style. I love that sense of style myself personally.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
Super, super cute.
Super cute.
Very excited.
Moving on to David. Now, he's another person who did a little 2-4. He had that utilitarian jacket, had the removable sleeves. What did you think about that?
Well, is it David? Oh, not Daniel. Okay.
Yeah, David.
I'm looking at the wrong one. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, well, David didn't get any buys, and
I'm not surprised.
Express's feedback was that we've seen this military trend. The market is saturated with it, so he really didn't come to the table and do anything different. So I get it. So no buys for David.
I get that too.
Moving on to the team of designers, Jessie Rae and Garrett. They did a shift dress. I have to say, I was for a showstopper, I was really disappointed. I thought it looked really dated. It looked old. I didn't think there was anything special about either of the styles. It looked a little grandma-ish. Like, what did you think?
I totally agree with you. And even like Jessica had tried to warn him and said, we got to do something. I think she was trying to warn him to do something different.
Yeah.
And they didn't really listen to her. And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Weird fabric choice. Dated.
It looked really
They played it safe. That's what they kept on saying, that they played it too safe.
Yeah.
It was just boring. That's what they played it.
I was
disappointed.
And finally, Tori. Tori had the trench coat. One was in silver, one was in a print. I thought it was a cute style. I wasn't like...
I wasn't wowed
I wasn't
either.
wowed by it in terms of being a showstopper. And unfortunately, Team Jessica, she had the worst.
She did.
Three of her designers didn't get buys.
I know.
David, Jessie Rae, and Garrett, and Tori didn't receive buys. So Jessica was really like down and out on this first episode. So let's quickly talk about who is up for for elimination. So it was Cassandra from Team John, Brett from Nicole's team, and then Tori, David, and the Jessie Ray and Garrett team from Jessica. Do you think that all of those 5 people deserve to be up for elimination? Based off of their designs?
There was one that I wasn't. Oh, the jacket. I liked the jacket.
You liked? Oh, you liked Cassandra's jacket.
I liked her jacket. I didn't think it was
so bad.
I wouldn't think it was so bad. I thought it was. I liked it. The other one, other 4, I'm not.
You weren't crazy about.
I'm not totally crazy about. No.
I think. I feel like the right people were in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And then
there isn't anybody that got a bid that.
I shouldn't have.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So.
And then the final 2, the judges narrowed it down to Brett and Jessie Ray and Garrett. And now we know that Brett was eliminated because he
didn't listen.
He didn't listen. He did the women's pants.
Yeah.
At the same time, do you feel like the right person was eliminated? Because I have an opinion about that.
You know, I do. There's something to me to be said when somebody's given the opportunity to work with somebody like, who was his mentor again? Nicole?
Brett was on Nicole's team.
When you have the opportunity to work with someone like Nicole Richie and you're on that show, and she tells you don't do that and you don't listen, you might be the most creative, best person out there, but if you don't know how to listen to people and you don't know how to take advice well, I thought he was writing his own ticket home, in my opinion.
I agree with you up to a certain point, just because after watching shows, you know, competition shows like Project Runway and Top Chef and stuff like that, sometimes, you know, even though a person says, well, you know, I don't think this is right, you should do this, sometimes there's something to be said about following your gut as, you know, as a creative person. And I guess his gut was telling him to make women's wear, and you know,
just seems stupid to me.
It did,
but to be blunt, it just seemed, honestly, it seemed stupid. I wanted to see if he's known for his menswear, and he's known.
Let's see it.
I wanted to see it. I felt the same way as Macy's. If he was put on the show because of his menswear, or that's why. Why would he? Why doesn't make any sense to me? And if I was his wife, the wife did he get divorced? Or
I think he said they're separated.
Divorced. Okay. I'm honest. This is what ran through my head. I'm like, no wonder he's separated. Seriously, he doesn't know how to listen. That was a dumb mistake, and I was like, he should have gone home. So I have an opinion too. I don't know if mine's different than yours.
No, well, and then the next group, Jessie Ray and Garrett. A part of me feels like, okay, so you've got 2 people, not one, but you have 2 people, and they're known for designing women's wear, and if the 2 of you can't come up with 2 great show-stopping looks, like something is wrong here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very
at least
true.
for the other guy, all right, I know he didn't listen, but at least he went outside of the box and did something a little different and tried something different. These 2 guys, you got 2 people, you have 2 minds, you have 2 creative thinkers, and you couldn't get it right. It's like, what the hell? So there's a part of me that feels like they should have went home.
Yeah, and I think that's a great argument also. And I was thinking about that just earlier in the show when I was watching. I was like, that doesn't seem fair. I hate to say the words fair, but like it just doesn't. You got 2 people working on it. It looks like it's a really difficult task to get that garment ready, however fast they have to do it. Yeah. And they've got 2 people doing it. It doesn't seem fair to me. It really doesn't. I thought that was kind of weird, and I'm like, and I don't know if that's something that's going to come up later if they have another bad design, because like you said, there's 2 of you. Yeah. 2 brains, 2 this, so Right, 2 brains, 4 hands, you know what I mean? It doesn't really seem fair. So it's 1 person for each garment where everybody else is responsible for 2. So I just... Yeah, and what's going to happen later on in the competition if these 2 end up making it later on, like when they have to produce not just like 1 item, but multiple, like a collection. Right. It's not fair that 2 people get to do it versus 1. We shall soon see. We should. So it's time to move on to episode 2, which just premiered on Friday. So episode 2 is all about selling sex. Yes. Sex sells. Now, in terms of sex selling, like, do we see a lot of sex in Rally Babe? No, I mean, the thing is, though, we like to think that the woman wearing the item is sexy, feels sexy. But we're more like casual, kind of like luxury, like casual wear, knitwear, like sweatshirts, sweaters, kind of that kind of a thing. So it's like one of those things you throw on when you want to like go to the gym, not even the gym, like go run errands, but you still want to look good. Right. And you want to feel good. Right. So we don't do like, not yet anyways, we don't do like dresses and sexy cuts like that. Well, the other interesting thing I think about this episode is that the concept of what's sexy can be so different from person to person. One person can think that wearing like next to nothing is sexy. Another person can think that wearing red lipstick is sexy. One person can think that
revealing your ankles is sexy. So I think the concept of sexy is very, you know, it means many different things to different people. And I think this is what we're going to see, or what we did see.
Yeah. But I do think there's a fundamental thing with sexy is that it's got to fit well.
Yeah.
It's got to feel good. Like I think fabric choices and cut is extremely important, not just in fashion in general, but if you're wanting to do the whole sexy thing.
Right.
So.
Because a woman wants to feel comfortable and confident.
Yes.
And you're not going to feel confident if whatever you're wearing doesn't fit you right.
Exactly.
So I agree with you there.
Yeah.
And then this episode too, it gets a little bit personal for the designers.
It does. I like that.
We get a little bit of, you know, background into who they are and their inspiration. So that's kind of nice, because I feel like last season that didn't happen right away.
It didn't.
Get, you know,
it was so fast paced. I mean, the show is so fast paced.
Yeah.
Like it's like even like when I'm watching, I'm trying to take notes. I have to like pause because it moves so quickly, and they're trying to get so much in so little time. And I do like the fact that they bring a little bit of background story. And to me, this is signaling the fact that they are going to further develop these people. We're going to kind of get to really know them and get to really connect with them and root for them. Whereas in the last season, I didn't feel that connection.
I agree.
You know?
It didn't happen until much later into this season. It didn't happen early on. So you didn't have a connection. You didn't really know about anybody. But now I feel like it's very different. So I like that they've changed that.
But you're friends with Orly?
Yeah.
I loved her stuff.
Yeah.
I was so rooting for her, and I was so sad when she went home. But
she's great.
Yeah, I loved her stuff.
Okay, so let's start off with Team Nicole. Now, Daniel, who I loved from episode 1, who had that great little, you know, cutout embroidery, he did a bodycon dress. So he had one that was a cutout, and then he had another that it looked like strips of like fabric.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Well, so Daniel is the one that is younger.
Yes,
that's his whole thing. So he's like super young, and he graduated. I actually wrote a few kind of little notes. He's been designing like forever. And what I loved, he said, quote, "This is like the badass bitch collection," or that's how he sees himself. So his bodycon dresses, honestly, I loved that black one. I actually went online to try and buy that one, and it was sold out.
Damn.
The whole thing was sold out, and it was the only one, when I went on to go buy it, it was the only one that was sold out so far.
Wow.
I wanted, and I'm not like...
You should try going in the store. You might still be able to find it.
I think you can only buy these now online.
Is it only online? Because last year it was in the store.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I tried to go to the stores. It was only in certain Macy's.
Well, yeah, it's not in all doors.
No.
It's not in all stores. But like if you went to H&M, like here at the Beverly Center, it was there.
It was there. You had to go to very specific ones.
Yeah, it was certain doors, but yeah, it was in the store.
But like, and it takes me just to like, in my background of like how I shop and buying, it takes me a lot to buy something. First of all, A, that's full price, not on sale, and B, just to buy anything in general. I'm not like a normal consumer, especially, you know it too, being in the fashion industry. Yeah. You can't go to a regular retail store and buy things. You know the markup. You know
how it's made. And
we have access to great stuff being in the industry. So it takes a lot for me to want to buy something. And that black dress.
It was fantastic.
Oh, my God.
It was great.
I was home with my husband, and I was forcing him. He didn't really watch it, but he was in the same room. And I was like, I want to get that dress. He's like, oh, yeah, buy that dress.
It was a hot dress.
So for a guy to say buy that dress, it's a hot, sexy dress.
It was a hot dress. And for Daniel, Macy's won out, and they bid $95,000, and Express also bid $60,000, but Macy's was the winner for him on that.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
Love.
Let's see here. Moving on to Johanna. Now, her story, she came from very humble beginnings, which I liked hearing.
She's from, is she the one from Compton?
No, Johanna's not from. Is Johanna?
I think she.
Johanna from Compton?
Yeah, she is.
She's okay, yeah. She is from Compton. She's from California.
She's from here. She's from LA.
Yeah,
she's another LA girl.
She supports her family. Very humble beginnings. She's the type of person you kind of want to root for.
You do. You kind of. I did, anyways. Yeah.
She had that really fabulous sheer maxi dress. She did it in the red, and she did it in that really great like python-y print. I thought it was fantastic.
Beautiful. I loved it. I thought it was so pretty. I like her a lot. Yeah. Because I really liked her dress she did the first week.
See, I wasn't crazy
and you weren't
about
crazy
the first
about
week
it.
dress.
But I think she has a good eye when it comes to creating for women. And when it comes with designers, certain designers are really good at knowing what fits really well and just looks really great on a woman and like really flattering to like different shapes. Yeah. And I think that's one of her things, and you could tell. And I liked that dress.
I did like it this week. Last week I was not a fan, but this week I'm on the Johanna train. And another bidding war, both Macy's and Saks actually like, I'm sorry, Macy's and Express bid on her dress, and Express went out at $125,000. So
not bad.
Not bad for Johanna. Moving on. Now remember, Team Nicole only has 3 people because last week Brett went home. So the final person in Nicole's team, Priscilla. Priscilla is the one. She's the cutesy.
She's a grandma
addict chick. Yeah, I liked her.
And she's Turkish. And
Turkish
from Panama.
Exactly. Like, so I liked her little story too. Now she did she called it the dream dress, and she did it in coral and that purpley color, and it was kind of like molded, kind of cutouty, like kind of deal. I wasn't bothered by the dress. Like, what did you think about it?
I didn't like it. I didn't like I liked it. I thought it had a lot of potential, but it missed the mark. The fit on top was way off for me. It looked weird when the models were walking down the runway. I was like, what's wrong with the boob area? Yeah, it just wasn't, to me, it just wasn't thought out, right? And then Macy's quoted saying they weren't a fan of the choice of her fabrics. It took away from the exquisite. So she thought the design was exquisite, but to me, it just missed the mark.
And it just goes to show you can have a really great style, a design, but if you pick the wrong fabric choice, it's just not going to work. You know, so one doesn't necessarily equal the other, which I think is an interesting thing. Okay, so that's Team Nicole. Moving on to Team John. So Amber, Amber's from Texas. Yeehaw. Amber did that open back dress, so you kind of got like a nice surprise when the girl turned around. It was like this nice open back. Now, I have to say, I like the dress, but that's not a wearable dress for a lot of people. You've got to be in shape. You cannot have back fat or rolls. You can't wear a bra. You cannot wear a bra. That's another thing that drives me crazy.
It drives me crazy, too, because that's a big determining factor for me when I'm shopping for clothes, tops, and dresses. Like, and that's the thing with Priscilla's dress. Like, that doesn't look like the kind of dress you can wear a bra. So if it's not fit correctly here on top in the breast area, like, you can't wear it. Like, no matter how beautiful the fabric is or how beautiful the design is, if it's not fit right on the bust area, it's
or if you're any bigger than an A cup, sorry.
You got to be able to wear a bra.
And so that really bothers me too.
It bothers me big time.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the dress, but you know, at the end of the day, Express bid $60,000 on that. So she got a buy.
I liked the dress. I wasn't crazy about it. The nude one I liked a lot better than, what was the other one, like in black? I liked the nude one a lot better, but I did think that the fit looked weird because there was, when the models turned, it looked like they were kind of open here with that hole. The fit just didn't seem right for me. That dress also seemed it missed the mark for me on that one. And I was actually surprised that one got a bid. I didn't think it was that great.
Definitely not one of my favorites, but I could, that's an Express dress for sure.
She said,
their girl.
Thought it was sexy in all the right places.
Yep, that's totally their girl. Next up is Cassandra. Gosh, I'm like blanking on her story.
Cassandra, actually, I didn't even write that much for her either. Do you know why? Because they didn't show.
Oh, okay.
I think that was one of she was one of the ones where, like, I'm like, they didn't show her backstory. They just showed her design.
All right, so that's why.
I'm glad that if you got the same thing, because same thing here, I remember thinking, like, wait, who's Cassandra?
Yeah,
like, I can't remember.
She did that sheer mini dress, and one was in like this bluish color, and it was like a nice, you know, a nice silhouette, I want to say. And Saks actually made a bid for $55,000 for Cassandra, so you know, well done.
Yeah, I thought it was, to me, it was like, eh. I wasn't like super crazy about it. It was like, I don't know. I wasn't.
You weren't crazy about it.
Showstopped or wowed or
All right. Moving on to Brandon. Now, Brandon is our menswear designer, and him and John, is kind of the same situation with Brett last week in terms of him listening and hearing feedback, and especially because Brandon's mentor is John. John is a menswear designer. So, I mean, you've got like the holy grail of, you know, designers giving you some good feedback, and he just kind of really went with what he wanted. He did that double flap jacket.
The James Bond inspired jacket.
He wanted James Bond inspired. I'm sorry, there was nothing sexy about that jacket. It was just kind of boxy in the fit. What did you think?
I actually kind of liked it.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was different. I thought it was creative. I thought it had a cool simple look to it, and I liked it.
It didn't bother you? Well,
no, it didn't. I didn't think it was, you know.
Well, he didn't get any buys.
Offers.
He didn't get any offers on his double flap jacket.
Yeah.
So there, again, to your point before, there's something to be said about listening.
And I think that's a big lesson that these guys got to know, because the mentors kind of like they obviously take themselves very seriously. Like they think of themselves as experts in the business, and they're there trying to offer advice. So you guys aren't going to listen to it.
It's like, why are we here?
Why are we here?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the point?
Okay, so moving on, the final team member for John is Sylvia. Now, she's the one who we already, discussed earlier. She's got like a different, level of taste. She's Latin. She's kind of an international seller. Now, she's the one who lost her fabric. She lost her black fabric.
I thought that was so funny.
I don't know how that happens, but at the same time, you've got all these designers running around and stuff. I could see where maybe it's easy to misplace something. But she did that draped mini dress.
They didn't seem to want to give her any slack about it, though. Like, they were like, you lost your fabric? Who loses their fabric?
Exactly. Well, I like that she didn't use that as an excuse for putting out, oh, I didn't have my fabric, so I couldn't do anything. Now, I think she, she was able to pull it out and, create something. I wasn't particularly wowed or crazy about it, because remember, she had the lime green fabric, and then she had the off-white. What did you think?
I have to agree. I was not wowed. I did not like the green. I didn't like the cut, especially in the green. Like, honestly, to me, it looked like Tinkerbell on steroids. It just looked like the green. I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
But you know what? Saks loves her. They really believe in her. He even mentioned how he discovered her like at some show in Italy. So they made a bid, $50,000. Sylvia got that bid last, episode for that coat dress from Saks.
I honestly was like really, I hate to say this, but I was really disappointed she got a bid from Saks, because I just didn't think that it was well executed, that dress, at all. And then I wonder, like, I don't know. I feel like I didn't understand why Saks would get that dress.
I think that they believe in her, and I think
it's like, more her and not that design.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more her and just knowing what she's capable of. But one interesting thing to keep in mind, to win this competition, you have to be able to sell to all three stores. So it's great that Saks loves her, but she needs to be able to be appealing to the Macy's customer, to the Express girl. So if she can't be appealing to all three, she doesn't win. Let's move on to Team Jessica. So my favorite girl, Hunter, she had that mesh ponte dress, which, whatever. I wasn't as excited about this dress as I was about the last one that she did, but it was still cute. What did you think about it?
I actually really liked it.
Did you?
I thought it was sexy. I loved it. I liked it in black. The tan one to me looked like a sexy Girl Scout costume. Like
cookie time.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I'm like, oh, okay. If I want to be like a sexy Girl Scout, I know where to find a dress.
Yeah.
But I liked it in black a lot. I thought it was very on point to trends. That mesh, kind of the cut. I really like the black one.
Yeah.
So.
And let's see here. So Hunter, she sold to Express. So at this point, Hunter has sold to Express and to Saks.
Yeah,
so
she's ahead of the game.
She's ahead of the game. She's starting to prove that, she can, she knows how to design for everybody so far. Next is David. Now, David is a menswear designer. David designed that moto blazer. What did you think about that?
I think it was okay. I don't remember.
Not memorable.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember in my notes, I was like, he had like something on his neck. It was like pink. But someone like kissed him. It looked like a pink lipstick mark.
He had a pink. It was a pink lip.
I was like, was it a tattoo? Did someone kiss him? Honestly, that's what I was like wondering when I was watching it.
But you know what's sad about that is if that's what you remember, and you don't remember what he designed, we have a problem. And it showed, because he didn't get any buys, and this is David's second week in a row with no buys. So talk about just a confidence, just drainer. He has no confidence at this point. Okay, next up is Jessie Ray and Garrett, the design team. So finally they redeemed themselves. They had that basket knit dress. It was very sexy. It reminded me of like the Hervé Leger like bandage dress. Did you like it?
I did. I thought it was great. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was well done. I thought the fit was great. I love this dress.
Yeah, and then they little bidding war. All three stores actually made bids, and Macy's was the winning bid at $140,000.
And it looked very Macy's to me too.
Yeah,
I could totally see it in Macy's.
It's a great dress. They needed that because they didn't get any bids last week.
None.
So.
They needed to redeem themselves, especially like you said, since there's two.
Exactly, and there's two people. So come on, get it together.
I feel like you and I are going to hold them up to a very high standard because there are two people.
Absolutely.
It's hard not to. Yeah.
I agree. And then finally from Team Jessica is Tori. Now, last week, Tori did the trench coat, and she didn't get any buys. This week, she did that one shoulder dress. And remember, she had some execution issues. Remember, like it wasn't cut right.
She wasn't able to finish it,
She wasn't able to finish it. And to me, it just, I think one shoulder can be sexy.
I think so too, big time.
I just don't, I didn't like the execution. What do you think?
I didn't know where you're supposed to put your boobs in that dress. Honestly, I was watching, I was looking, I'm like, okay, the models haven't, apparently they looked at, these models were very flat-chested.
Of course, as most are.
Or the dress made it look very flat-chested because I'm like, where do you put your boobs?
There was no shape.
There was nothing. And I thought that was very, for a sexy dress, like, it was that was another one of those dresses that at first I was like, ooh, and I'm like, ooh. Like, it was so close, but the shape, the fit, she just didn't execute it right. I like the colors. I really like the colors. I thought those were pretty. Not the floral print, but the color one.
I like the other one. It was like purple and green or something. I like that too. Well, so let's see here. So up for elimination for this episode, it was Priscilla from Team Nicole, Brandon from John's team, and then 2 people from Jessica's team, David and Tori. Do you feel like those are the right 4 people that were up?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And this one, I think definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they were the ones. I think there were some really stellar dresses this week. I was really impressed. I loved a lot of the styles. And yeah, those people definitely deserve to be in the bottom. And
so the final 2 it came down to Tori and David. And as we know, Tori was eliminated. Do you think the right person went home?
I was actually really surprised that they sent home Tori. I totally thought they were going to send home David.
Well, for both of them, they both had no buys 2 weeks in a row. So they were both, when it comes to that, they were on equal ground.
They were.
So,
and I can't say, like, I haven't seen enough from either or to say that I felt that this person should or shouldn't, but like, just based on the styles presented, I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
That she went home, but maybe they wanted to keep a couple more menswear because there's not that many menswear.
There really aren't.
Because for the first week, that guy got sent home.
Right. So yeah, having some true menswear designers, I definitely think that shakes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's our recap for episode 1 and 2. Let's go into some predictions, huh?
And now your AfterBuzz TV.
I actually have, if we have some time, I have a little bit of news and gossip.
Okay, we'll hit that right after predictions.
Okay.
So let's see here. Who are your front runners so far in this competition? Who would you like to see go to the end? Like next episode, who do you think is going to rise to the top?
Yeah, you know, my favorite so far, just out of the 2 weeks, I'm actually really interested and curious to see what Jessie Ray and Garrett do.
Okay.
I really am. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out with the 2 of them because I really loved what they did the second week. And I felt like the first one, I was like, they knew they made a mistake. So I'm kind of, in some ways, sort of rooting for them.
Okay.
The other one is I really liked Grandma Girl. Priscilla.
Priscilla, okay.
I was disappointed by her look this week, but I loved her look the first week, and I really like how she has a sense of style herself. Like, it's very reflective of her and everything, and it's very very specific, and I like that. And then Hunter, I really like too.
I have 3 favorites, and I'm just going to pick one from each team. So from Team Nicole, I love Daniel. I think that he just has a great aesthetic. He has a great eye, and it just seems to come so easy to him. Love him. From Jessica's team, Hunter, I wouldn't be surprised if she makes it to the end, if she wins, because at this point now she's sold to 2 stores, so she's really on the fast track. And then on John's team, I love Sylvia. I think she definitely has an elevated sense of style. We just kind of have to see it come together. Like this time around, I really wasn't crazy about her dresses, but you know, I did like that coat. I know you didn't like the coat from Saks, but yeah, her elevated sense of style might hurt her though when it comes to selling to the other stores.
Exactly, especially Macy's and Express. With David, I agree. I think he's very talented. He kind of bugs me a little bit because he seems really arrogant. He's really young, and he talks a lot. I'm the youngest one here, and I went to school this fast, and I went here, and I went there, I went there. It's like, okay, I get it. You're young. Like, you know, and I hope because of that, he really continues to bring it.
Right.
Because there's a little bit of just arrogance there that could get in his way if he really is talented. So that was the only thing that bothered me a little bit about him.
And, okay, so how about, you said you had a little news and gossip. I have a little quip to, but yeah, what do you have?
Okay, so I had, there's a really nice interview with Nicole Richie on Parade magazines, and she had some good quotes in here. She was talking about how the difference between the 2 seasons of Fashion Star, this one versus the last one. And I kind of touched on it a little bit. But she says, quote, John Varvatos, Jessica Simpson, and I we all wanted more time with the designers. So we decided to divide it up so that each one of us is working with a group of designers instead of all of us working with every single designer. We were finding that it was spreading us a little too thin, and so I would say that would lead to the biggest change in the show. And then they asked about like the competition now amongst the mentors with that change, and she says it definitely can get competitive at times, but also there's times where we really lean on each other for help. It's not us versus them. There are times when I go to John or I go to Jess and they'll come to me, or they'll go to see each other as well. And she talked a little bit about her own group of designers who she selected. She said, and they asked, like, how did you know? And she says, I knew. I kind of knew just right away who I wanted to work with. Just people that I gravitated towards. We call each other the fun group. She says, I would say my designers are definitely the risk takers. So it helps them at times and it hurts them at times. The interesting thing about the show, it's not just about being an artist, it's about being a smart business person, which is what we've been talking about. It's not just about designing the $10,000 gown made of plants. It's about understanding the retailers that you're working with, who you're selling to, and taking their criticism and applying it to yourself, all while keeping your own individuality. So which is so true.
It's about the customer. I mean, the fashion business, it's a business. It's a financial business, and you and I both, you know, we know that oh so well. And
that's it from that one. Another interesting little just kind of piece of gossip that I picked up while I was doing some research is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there was a strike, a set strike while they were filming back in October.
There was
and
a strike.
So it
didn't last that long.
It didn't last long, but it halted production. It was like one of those things that added to the like, oh my God, the day got changed. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, they're on strike. Is this show doomed? And I don't think it's not doomed, but it was just interesting.
It's not doomed.
No, and not at all. It's such a good show.
Funny that you mention it because, like I said, I have a couple friends who are on the show. I actually went to go see a couple live tapings of it during the season, so that was fun. And then I also know that the ratings, first off, haven't been really good. The ratings haven't been good, so they're definitely pushing to hope that they get back up, but the ratings haven't been good. So
it's on a Friday.
I know. Watch Fashion Star, everybody. And I think I don't know. That's our after show. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yay! I'm excited.
I like us together. Yay! All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to our AfterBuzz recap of Fashion Star. You can find us where?
You can find me on Twitter at Erika Vieira LA. That's ERIKA VIEIRA LA, and you can also check out our clothing line, Rally Babe, at rallybabe.com.
And you can find me on Twitter, Diona Vaughan, at Go2GirlTV. That's GO2 Girl TV. And you can also find me on YouTube. I have a show called The Stylish Finds, and it's on the Stylish channel, so you can find me there.
Yeah, check it out. She's good. I subscribe. Subscribe to her channel, guys.
Subscribe. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.